The year is 1900. There are only about 8,000 cars on the road. The global life expectancy is around 30 to 35 years. The Wizard of Oz is released as a book. Only about 14% of homes in the United States have a bathtub. Roughly 90% of all doctors in the US have no college education. And cricket is in the Olympics for the first and last time until now. What happens when you take a sport that hasn't been played in the Olympics since Queen Victoria died and forcibly injected into the Los Angeles Games? You get a scramble for temporary stadiums, an organizing committee suddenly trying to understand what a wicket is, and you unlock a billion-dollar broadcasting goldmine. The inclusion of cricket in the 2028 Los Angeles Olympics is not a quaint nod to history. It's a calculated, ruthless financial strike. The International Olympic Committee looked at the global media landscape, realized they were missing out on a market of 2.5 billion rabid fans, and immediately rewrote the rulebook to bring the sport to Hollywood. But here's the massive problem. Los Angeles does not have a cricket stadium. The United States has barely figured out how to build a proper grass pitch, and the American national team relies on a guy who writes software code for Oracle on his lunch breaks. How will the organizing committee drop a massive, complex, highly specialized sport into a city that has zero infrastructure to support it? And what happens when the global titans of the sport arrive on American soil looking to completely embarrass the host nation? We're going to break it all down. Hi, it's me, Doug. I love the Olympics. Let's talk about the absolute chaos of LA28 cricket. Cricket and the Olympics share a very brief, very bizarre history. The sports only appeared in the games once. The year was 1900, the location Paris. Only 2 teams bothered to show up. Great Britain played France. The British team was a touring club side. The French team was mostly made up of British expats living in Paris. Great Britain won the match, they took the gold, the sport was immediately dropped from the Olympic program. And in this Olympics, it will have been completely absent for 128 years. The reason for the exile was simple. Traditional cricket is a logistical nightmare for a multi-sport tournament. A traditional test match takes 5 days to complete. You can't host a functional Olympic tournament when a single match takes a week. Olympic broadcasters demand fast, digestible content. They demand immediate results. Traditional cricket was fundamentally incompatible with modern television schedules. Then came the T20 revolution. T20 cricket changed the global sporting landscape. The format restricts the game to exactly 20 overs per side. An over consists of 6 pitches. This mathematically caps the innings. The rules mandate aggression. Batters are heavily incentivized to launch the ball into the stands. The action is violent, explosive, and relentless. Most importantly, a T20 match takes roughly 3 hours to complete. It perfectly matches the duration of a standard baseball game. This format solved the Olympic problem. It provided the necessary speed, it provided the necessary television window. The International Cricket Council realized this was their golden ticket. They lobbied hard. They pushed the T20 format as the ultimate global export. ICC Chairman Greg Barkley confirmed the overarching mission behind this Olympic push. He stated the goal plainly. This is a massive shot in the arm for cricket and part of our ongoing strategy to grow the sport. The sport had the format, it just needed a buyer. You do not add a massive team sport to the Olympic slate out of sheer goodwill. You add it for television rights. You add it for financial leverage. The International Olympic Committee faces a serious demographic crisis. Their viewership in traditional Western markets is aging. They desperately need to tap into younger, deeply engaged global audiences. Meanwhile, the Indian subcontinent possesses the most lucrative untapped Olympic market on Earth. India alone holds 1.4 billion people. Cricket's not just a sport there, it's a religion. It dictates the cultural rhythm of the entire nation. The Indian Premier League generates billions of dollars in media rights. It rivals the NFL in per-match valuation. The IOC wanted a piece of that financial pie. They wanted the massive Indian broadcast networks to trigger a bidding war for the rights to the LA28 games. Of course they did. To trigger that war, they needed cricket on the schedule. LA28 chairman Casey Wasserman understood this math perfectly. He understood that Los Angeles is merely the host city, but the product is sold globally. He aggressively championed the inclusion of the sport. Wasserman publicly validated the underlying strategy, explicitly linking the sport's massive audience to the city brand, saying this: "Our games are not just about Los Angeles, but they're about the world. And we get the opportunity to bring a sport that has 2.5 billion fans to what we think is the greatest sports city in the world." It's a really powerful combination. This is not about selling tickets to locals in Santa Monica. This is about selling television subscriptions in Mumbai, Karachi, and Sydney. The organizing committee effectively traded logistical headaches for a massive injection of foreign broadcasting capital. Let's be completely honest about what's happening here. The Los Angeles Organizing Committee is executing a brilliant, cynical business maneuver. They're importing a sport entirely for export. They know the average Angelino cannot explain the leg before wicket rule. They do not care. The stands could be entirely empty and the event would still be a financial triumph. LA28's using the aesthetic backdrop of Hollywood to package a product specifically designed for the Asian television market. It is sports washing in reverse. They're leveraging their own city's glamour to capture foreign media dollars. It's a masterstroke of Olympic capitalism. Let's take a quick time out though. If you're an American trying to understand what's happening on the screen, here's the absolute easiest way to think about it. Imagine baseball. But instead of running around 4 bases, you only run back and forth between 2 safe zones in the middle of a giant oval field. The pitcher is called a bowler. They get a running start and throw the ball with a straight arm, usually bouncing it once before it reaches the batter. The batter is swinging what looks like a giant flat wooden paddle. Behind the batter are 3 wooden sticks stuck in the ground called a wicket. If the bowler throws the ball past you and knocks over those sticks, you're out. Think of it as a brutal 1-pitch strikeout. If you hit the ball and the fielder catches it in the air, you're out, just like a standard flyout. But here's the best part, the scoring. If you crush the ball over the edge of the field on the fly, that's an automatic 6 runs, basically a home run. If it bounces over the boundary line, that's 4 runs, kind of like a ground rule double. In the T20 format, each team only gets exactly 120 pitches to score as many runs as humanly possible before they swap sides. That's it. It's essentially a high-speed 3-hour home run derby. What could be wrong with that? But financial brilliance creates a practical nightmare. The IOC mandates a 6-team tournament for both men and women. That requires a venue. Los Angeles lacks a professional-grade cricket oval. You cannot squeeze a cricket pitch into a standard American football stadium. You cannot drop it into a baseball diamond. A proper cricket field requires roughly 150 yards of circular clearance. The geometry simply rejects existing American infrastructure. Furthermore, the pitch itself is a delicate, highly engineered surface. It's the literal soul of the sport. You cannot just lay down sod and paint a crease. A bad pitch creates dangerous, unpredictable bounces. It ruins the tactical integrity of the match. New York recently built a temporary 34,000-seat stadium in Nassau County for the 2024 T20 World Cup. That experiment, however, serves as a dark warning. The drop-in pitches were horrific, the ball behaved erratically, batters were bruised, the ICC faced massive global backlash for fielding a substandard surface on the world stage. LE28 watched that disaster unfold. They now know they cannot fake a proper cricket pitch. If the ball stays low or spikes wildly off a bad seam, the entire tournament becomes a global laughing stock. LA28 seems to be doing it right though. They just broke ground on a temporary fairgrounds cricket stadium out at the Fairplex in Pomona, a massive 500-acre event complex about 30 miles east of downtown LA. If you've ever been to the LA County Fair, you know exactly the spot. This pop-up venue is purpose-built for the high-octane T20 format, meaning 20 overs, huge hits, and matches that wrap up in roughly 3 hours. While the stadium is technically a temporary stadium that will be dismantled after the games to keep costs manageable, the pitch isn't just going to sit empty until 2028. In fact, it's getting a major test run very soon. The Los Angeles Knight Riders of Major League Cricket are actually scheduled to play a few home matches right on these grounds this coming July. It's a massive step for growing international cricket in the States and a perfect preview for the action we'll see when the games finally kick off. The host nation automatically qualifies for the Olympic tournament. This detail initially terrified international cricket executives. Historically, the United States men's national team was an afterthought. They were a ragtag assembly of expats, dual citizens, and weekend warriors. The global fear was that the US team would step onto a pitch in LA and suffer catastrophic, embarrassing defeats on global television. Then came June 6, 2024. The United States hosted the T20 World Cup. As I previously said, they played Pakistan in Dallas. Pakistan is a certified cricket titan. They breed legendary fast bowlers. They possess elite, world-class infrastructure. The match was supposed to be a slaughter. Instead, the United States forced a super over. They matched Pakistan run for run, and when they broke them, the United States secured the greatest upset in the history of international T20 cricket. Suddenly, the American roster was not a joke. They were legitimate disruptors. Team captain Manank Patel recognized the seismic shift in the cultural landscape. He understood that they had finally legitimized the sport on American soil. Addressing the historic victory, Patel said, "It's not just a victory for our team, but also the whole USA community the way we played at the World Cup." But the true folk hero of the American uprising is Saurabh Netravalkar. He's a left-armed fast bowler. He's also a senior software engineer at Oracle. He literally codes corporate algorithms by day and strikes out global cricket icons by night. Netravalkar bowled the decisive super over against Pakistan. He handled the immense pressure of the global spotlight with terrifying calm. Netravalkar's secret? He treats international cricket as a passion project, entirely separate from his corporate reality. Netravalkar explained his unique mental approach perfectly. "I've never felt the pressure. When you love something, it's never a job for you. So when I'm out there on the field, I love bowling and trying to outthink a batter. When I'm coding, I love doing that, and hence it never feels like work. Netravalkar represents the ultimate danger for opposing Olympic teams. He's unburdened by the crushing expectations that suffocate traditional cricketing nations. The American team plays with house money. They're fearless. They now know they can bleed the Titans. The Olympics thrive on star power. They need the biggest names on the planet to validate the tournament. And in a world of cricket, there is no brighter star than Virat Kohli. Kohli's a global icon. His social media reach eclipses LeBron James and Tiger Woods combined. He dictates the emotional state of 1 billion fans, and there's a massive complication for the LA 28 organizers. Kohli officially retired from international T20 cricket immediately after leading India to the 2024 World Cup title. His retirement severely threatened the marketing power of the Olympic tournament. LA 28 desperately needs Kohli's face on the promotional material, and they need his gravity to anchor the broadcast rights. But the allure of the Olympic gold medal is a strange, powerful force. It compels retired legends to reconsider. It offers a unique piece of hardware that no modern cricketer currently possesses. During a public appearance, the retired superstar was directly pressed about the possibility of traveling to LA. Virat Kohli flashed a smile, left the door wide open for a Hollywood return. He stated, "I don't know, maybe if we're playing for the gold medal, I might just sneak in for one game, get a medal, and come back home." If Kohli sneaks in, the entire dynamic of the tournament shifts. India will dispatch a juggernaut roster. Australia will counter with their lethal battle-tested fast bowlers. England will unleash their hyper-aggressive batting lineups. The 16 format guarantees that every single match will be a heavyweight title fight. There's no room for error. There's no easy group stage matches against developing nations. It will be an absolute gauntlet. The United States men's team proved they can bite. The history over Pakistan was a historic, monumental achievement, but let me offer one massive dose of reality. An Olympic tournament is a completely different beast. The 16 format means the United States will not be playing sluggish, unprepared teams looking past them. They will be locked in a cage fight with 5 apex predators. If India, Australia, and England arrive in Los Angeles fully motivated, treating this as a premier global title rather than an exhibition, the talent gap will become incredibly apparent. Netravalkar and the American squad have momentum, sure, but momentum rarely survives a barrage of a 95-mile-per-hour bouncer from an Australian pace attack. The US must heavily invest in their domestic infrastructure right now, or they will be brutally exposed on their own turf. The 128-year wait is over. Cricket's returning to the Olympic stage. It brings a $1 billion TV deal, a massive logistical headache, and rosters of software engineers ready to strike out global icons. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Do you think Virat Kohli actually comes out of retirement for one last gold medal run? If you want to catch every single episode as we break down Olympic events for 117 straight weeks on the road to Los Angeles, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. We have a lot of ground to cover before the torch is lit. See you next week. Bye!